So I've been playing Saros for about 6 hours now. I've cleared 3 biomes. And to be honest, I think Saros is a good game. It really is, but it doesn't fix the one thing that I always felt like held Returnal back, which I think Returnal was also a great game. But that one thing is the build crafting and customization. To be honest, I had really high hopes that Housemarque was going to take all the feedback from Returnal, look at where the genre has gone since then, and just absolutely knock it out of the park with the sequel. They didn't, but they sort of did, and now I'm kind of sitting here 3 biomes deep, wondering if I am really playing a sequel or am I just playing Returnal all over again. Now look, I want to start with Returnal because I think it's important context. I covered Returnal on the main channel, and I'll be the first one to tell you that game does a lot right. The combat is some of the best feeling combat in any third-person shooter I've ever played. The dodge feels great, the movement is just fluid, the gunplay is beautiful, and the atmosphere is incredible. And the bosses are some of the most memorable encounters that I've had in any roguelike. Housemarque knows how to make a game feel good in your hands, and that was basically never the issue. But here's where I always land on Returnal. And I know some of you are going to disagree with me in the comments, and that's totally fine. We love discussion on this channel. The build crafting in that game is pretty shallow. And I don't mean shallow as like a buzzword or anything. I mean like when I'm doing a roguelike run, the joy of the genre for me, the entire reason these games hook me, is the feeling that this run is going to be different than the last run. That's pretty much the whole pitch for me. Hades does this, Dead Cells does this, Risk of Rain 2 does this, and even Binding of Isaac, which is ancient at this point, does this in a way that's still genre defining. Returnal's artifacts and parasites and weapon traits, they're all there and they all technically work, but the choices never felt like they were meaningfully changing my run. It was always, oh, I got these leech rounds again, or I got a protective shield artifact again, and my runs feel exactly like the last run, except a few artifacts or the gun might be a little bit different. And that for me was where I would always hit a wall with Returnal. I cleared the campaign, I would push into the Tower of Sisyphus, and eventually I would just put the controller down because the runs started blurring together. So when Saros got announced, I'll be honest, this was the thing I was most excited to see fixed. I wanted to see different weapon archetypes that felt completely different from each other. I wanted artifact synergies that made you go, oh, okay, this is the run I'm going to be doing a freeze build, or this is the run I'm going to be doing a explosive build, this is the run I'm going to be doing a glass cannon, and seeing how far I can push it. I wanted that feeling where you sit down and you see what the game gives you in the first 10 minutes and you're already cooking up a whole strategy in your head. I know I've done it many times when I play these roguelikes and loot games, but unfortunately that's not what Saros is doing. At least not in the first 3 biomes. The combat is phenomenal, like exactly what you'd expect from Housemarque. The traversal stuff is pretty cool. The bullet hell encounters still hit. The bosses I've fought so far have been awesome. I'm not going to spoil that. The gunplay feels very similar to Returnal, which I think it's a little bit better here, which I didn't think was possible. And on a moment-to-moment level, this game absolutely delivers. And if all you care about is the gunplay loop, you're going to love Saros. There's no question about it. But once I started looking at my upgrade options, once I started looking at what the game was actually offering me run to run, it just felt so familiar. The currency system, the consumable items, the weapon traits, the parasite equivalents, it's all very Returnal coded as you would expect, but basically it's the same framework with a new coat of paint. And at this point, I just keep asking myself if I just see this differently than everyone else. Am I expecting too much? Maybe I am, but I feel like I've played enough roguelikes at this point to know what real build variety feels like, and Saros doesn't have it. And I'm not asking for Hades 2 levels of build complexity. I get that Housemarque is making a different kind of roguelike. They're making a third-person, atmospheric, story-driven roguelike, and that's a different design philosophy than something like Hades. I get it. But you can have your atmosphere and your story and your tone and still give some meaningful build choices. Those things are not mutually exclusive. Other games in adjacent genres have figured this out. I really wish Housemarque would have looked outward a bit more this time around. Now, I want to be fair because I've only cleared 3 biomes, and I genuinely mean this. There's a chance that the game opens up later. Maybe biome 4 or 5 introduces some system that I've yet to see. Maybe the post-game adds a layer of customization that pulls everything together. And maybe I'm going to eat my words in like 2 weeks and have to come back and make an update video. I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. That's pretty much how it goes. So take this as like a first impression, not a final verdict. I'll have a full deep dive on this channel once I finish the game. But what I can tell you right now is that core feeling that I had with Returnal, that back of the mind thought that would tell me that this run feels too much like the last one, I'm getting that same exact itch in Saros, and it's pretty disappointing because Returnal came out almost 5 years ago at this point. That's a long time to iterate. That's a long time to look at the genre and see what's working, see what people loved about your last game and what they bounced off of, and adjust accordingly. The other thing I'll say is, and this is more of a vibe thing than a mechanical thing, the game is absolutely gorgeous. The art direction, the sound design, the way biomes are stitched together visually. This is a studio that knows how to make a beautiful game. Walking into a new area for the first time still gives me that jolt of like, wow, this looks amazing. I can't wait to discover what this place is all about. The story stuff and the little that I've picked up from it has me curious enough to keep going. So it's not all bad. In fact, the game is really, really good. I don't want to say that the game is bad. That's not my takeaway from this video. It's more so based around the customization and build options available, which I know is very nitpicky. Anyway, that's it for this video. Just some quick thoughts on Saros. I will see you all in the next one.